Welcome to the Missouri Valley Conference Game of the Week preview show presented by Mercy, the official orthopedics and sports medicine provider of the Missouri Valley Conference. With head coach Cuonzo Martin, I'm Harry Schroeder, and Wednesday at 6 p.m. on your local Gray media station on Matrix Midwest here in St. Louis. The Missouri State Bears and the Northern Iowa Panthers will be doing battle in a midweek game. And Coach Martin, thanks for joining us today. And my kind of first question is, I know you're a process guy, you're a long-term view guy, and yet there has to be a little relief after that first win came along.
Yeah, it was good to get that win for our guys, man. They worked so hard, and the thing I said to them, they were persistent, they were consistent in their approach, and I just think we had to get over the hump and not be afraid to win the game. Not necessarily afraid of the opponent, but go ahead and try to win the game. Let's not find ways to give it up and down the stretch, with a turnover hit, not a key box out, all those things. But we found a way to get a win against a physical, tough Murray State team.
When I ask other coaches about the Missouri State Bears, what they universally say to me is, wow, they play hard. Wow, are they determined guys? Talk about the makeup of your players and what you're trying to produce there.
Well, I just think that's part of my DNA, and I think that's part of who we have to be as a program, and we're trying to reach greatness as a program. But I think that's where it starts. We have to play hard, we have to play tough, we have to play together, and of course you have to play smart. And I think when you can play extremely hard on a consistent basis, you give your a team a chance to win a lot of games. Now what happened? We have to continue to get strong with our bench, and I think we've grown into that. We showcased a lot of guys in the last game, but I think as strong as we can get our bench stronger, we can get our starters mentally stronger, because what happens when you play on starters for so many minutes, all of a sudden it's 32, 33, 34, man, it's like you run out of gas, you just don't have quite enough there. So again, the goal for our staff to continue to get our bench guys strong, to continue to get our starters better, and we feel like we have a chance when we do that.
We've flipped the calendar into February, and I hear coaches talk about senior urgency. Talk about when that maybe kicks in for players, or is that even a real thing?
It's never been a thing for me as a coach, even as a player, man, because every game is important. I've always tried to look at that. Every game is valuable, and you're doing everything in your power to try to win one game. You started in June, but the goal is to win one game at a time. And can you stay focused every possession down? But you can't get consumed. All of a sudden it's March. We're thinking about spring break, how many games we have left, man. You have to be locked and loaded. And it's every possession down. It's how you approach life, man. You can't, just like going to the class, man. You can't be one of those guys. I made a mistake, so I want to be clear and fair here. I made a mistake of my senior year, not consistently going to class down the stretch, and I had to go back and finish them to get my degree. So it all counts in your approach. It can't just be the basketball piece. Things aren't going my way if I'm not playing a lot. Things aren't going my way in the classroom. Okay, I'll do it later. Let me go try to trace this other dream. No, finish the job, because it'll go with you the rest of your life. And I think that's very important, but it's easier said than done. So we have to be diligent as a staff to make sure these guys understand every day you got to max out.
At the other end of the spectrum, you've got an outstanding freshman in Zaxton King. Talk a little bit about his game and what makes him work, where some of the fans are maybe just going to be seeing you guys for the first time here on our Gray media station broadcast.
Well, he's a guard, 6'3", maybe 6'4", from Lawrence, Kansas. Good size on him, can shoot the ball. And I think the thing, he's playing really well, especially down the stretch, man, because we took him off the ball. And we're playing well on both sides of the ball, I think in the last 5 or so games. But what happened was because of Mose, we thought Mose Downing would be our starting point guard, but he was injured throughout. So Zaxton became the starting point guard. That's a tough task for a guy that, running the point guard at this level, who you never really ran it at a high level. And now all of a sudden, taking him off the ball, he's better, because now he understands what it means to run the point, but he's also able to move and catch and shoot and play that way. And he's not always guarding the other team's point guard, because when you come out of high school, man, you guard elite level guards and getting hit with 6 or 7 ball screens, probably in 2 possessions. That takes a toll on you. Now you got to run the team. So he understands that now, but he's got his body bigger and stronger. And that's why he's playing so well now, because we got him off the ball. Now he's able to play, catch, and move. And obviously you can see the talent that he has.
This past week, all across college basketball, we participated in the Coaches versus Cancer activities and different things coaches and players did. Why is that important, both just for basketball teams to do, but men's basketball teams in particular?
Well, I just think the coaches before us, they started years ago, and I think Norm Stewart, one of those guys, Dick Vitale, so many guys that Jimmy Valvano, they took a lot of pride in fighting this deadly disease. I know so well about it. I was diagnosed with cancer in 1997. But I just think it's a fight, man, that we all have. And that doesn't have anything to do with a color, race, or anything, man. It's just, there's a fight that's a never ending fight, and we got to find a way to end it. So I think as coaches, because it impacts everybody. That has nothing to do with your demographic, where you're from, your economic status. I mean, that hits everybody. So we have to do a great job in fighting that deadly disease. And there's so many on the front lines of this, man, that have raised millions of dollars. And man, I'm just a small piece to that puzzle. And I got to do my part.
You guys take on Northern Iowa on Wednesday. Talk a little bit about the Panthers, and I know you guys played them earlier in the season. What makes them tick, and talk a little bit about your approach?
Well, I think first and foremost is the guy that leads the program. I mean, he's done at a high level for a long time. He had many opportunities to do something different, man. But so that's where it starts. I mean, he's a magician on that sideline. He understands what's going on. He puts his guys in position, man. It's an elite level program. It's respected all around the country, man. Then you have talented players. I mean, when you have talent and you're well coached, you give yourself a chance to win games every night. And they do so many things offensively. So you got to figure out 5 to 10 things to try to stop, because they run a lot of different actions. You get consumed with all of them, it'll be a long night for you, man. But again, talented. They got big guys that can shoot the ball, big guys that can post up, guards that can post up. Anderson, in my opinion, is as good as any wing in America. I don't care what level. I mean, when you get downhill and drive and physical strong like that, man, it doesn't matter what level. I mean, that guy, when it's all said and done, he will be on somebody's NBA roster, if not final cuts or something. He's going to be a part of something, because you can't be that size and that physical and that quick and that athletic and not have a chance to play at the highest level.
What are the things that you're looking at with your program, your players right now? Here's 1 or 2 things we're really trying to improve on right here on February the 3rd.
The first thing, to be elite on defense. We want to be elite, and I think we're growing toward that. And that takes a toll on you. That's the mental approach, as defending the ball one-on-one, understanding your assignment, focused on the task at hand, and being relentless. And then the other part, offensively, we've done a great job, and I think in the last 5 games, we're probably shooting 50+% from the field. Just continue to share the ball. If you got to, one thing Coach Katie would always say, you got to share the juices. And what that means, man, share that basketball. So now my job, I have to be diligent in trying to get 2 guys to defend me. And I got to be a good decision maker. Now, that decision part, we still 50-50 and getting better at that. But we got to be able to make great decisions when we got 2 guys on us, and the other guy, he'll make the shot, he'll make the next play. And then the last thing, I know you said 2, but the third thing is really get the ball to Mike Osei-Bonsu and let him operate down it, because he has the ability to see the game as if he's a point guard, even though he plays the forward position for us.
I just watched a video about him the other day, a track star, a sprinter. And then you see that big, bulky guy. I mean, like, he's got it all going, doesn't he?
Great feet, great hands, phenomenal guys. His family done an extraordinary job with him, man. He's a guy that you'll be talking about for the next 20, 30 years when he comes to this league, because just his presence, his approach, works hard, tough as nails, but as humble as they come. He's what I call a happy warrior.
As we turn the corner, like I said, we're February, we're a month away from Arch Madness. Dial back the memory banks a little bit. Tell me about some of your Arch Madness memories.
Man, it's just I remember games that just like my first time around, and we were blessed when we had Kyle Weems.
He wasn't bad, was he?
He was a good player, But the thing with Kyle, what made him great? Yes, he was a talented player, but he was selfless, and all he cared about was winning. He'd get on Adam Leonard if he doesn't shoot the ball when he's open. He'd get on Jermaine Mallett to be aggressive. He was a unique guy because he wasn't. You have some guys that can be successful, but they jealous of other guys' success. He was never that guy. Kyle was the type of guy, man. He could host. He could host the men's players, women's players. He was that level of guy. And when it's all said and done, again, he could be the president of a university, the mayor of a community. But because, again, he had no angles to him, he had a big heart. He was a caring guy. He just wanted to win. And then, the other, you're talking about Will Creekmore, who was tough as nails at, 6'7", 6'8", great footwork. Nafis Ricks, elite level guard, man. Playing Northern Iowa, Creighton, man. Wichita, just woo. It's like you in a street fight every night. And but that was the one thing about this league. You had to bring it every night, and it took a mental and physical toll on you, as it should.
Final thought. I'm kind of a numbers geek, and so I look at things like the net and the Ken Palm and all those kinds of metrics. Are you a coach that pays attention to those things? And if so, how do they help you?
Well, the analytics, yes, you look at it because those are real numbers. You can't avoid those numbers. Just say, for example, I mean, I couldn't come home and I got a 60 on the test and tell my mom I'm getting an A. That's a 6. That's the D. It's what it is. So you got to look at the numbers. And what happens, the numbers just kind of guide you. But I'll take it a step further. When I look at the numbers, then I'll say, okay, like for example, if we giving up 46% from the field, which is not good if you're playing defense. Okay, how do we get that to 40? Okay, what are we doing here? And then you start looking at the breakdown on the film to get those numbers down. So yes, you have the numbers, but you also have the application in place of why are we doing this. And that's where you have to be better. That's one of the things that you have to be critical of yourself as a coach, because there's some areas here with our team, I could have been better earlier. But now you got to put yourself in position, but you got to be able to look in the mirror and see that, and you got to move forward.
Appreciate your time. That's Cuonzo Martin of the Missouri State Bears. Our Wednesday night coverage begins at 6 p.m. Central. For information on where you can catch the games, head to mvc-sports.com. For the Missouri Valley Conference, I'm Harry Schroeder.